Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story, the channel. My name is Artieka.
And I'm Tommy.
Today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 14. That episode is titled The Rope, the Feather, and the Bidet. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with a friend.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my phone said my Galaxy Buds just connected.
Oh, yeah.
It's that
Where your buzz at?
upstairs.
That's weird.
The child does not have the bud.
I hope he does not either. But we shall see.
No, we will. Where do you want to start? I wrote the least about Nicole and Chris.
Let's start with them then.
All right, so the bidet in the title is from Nicole and Chris. They install a bidet in their bathroom.
I feel like a bidet is like the ultimate wipe.
I don't feel that way.
Have you ever used one?
No, but I guess I don't feel that way because all I'm thinking is something spraying water up your butt, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about that says wipe?
It gets it clean. Like, my question is, how do you dry it?
Be dripping.
Yeah, like, does it have like a, like, you know how you got the hand dryer? How do you dry your...
And if I'm going to do all that, I just take a shower.
Your bum. Anyway, go right ahead.
Dr. Pia came by this episode. She is the expert for everyone. And she's supposed to be talking about sex and intimacy. And because she doesn't really need to touch with them on sex, she talks to them about their past relationships and Nicole's history of being a people pleaser. And she got into their conversations about foreplay. She asked Nicole, is she not receiving the things that she wants because she's not asking for the things that she wants? Like, she's just accepting what's given because she doesn't want to rock the boat. Then she said to Nicole that she's wondering if she's depriving herself for that same reason. And then they got a treasure chest to work on intimacy.
Yeah. She, Nicole is a work in progress because she has a lot going on about her self-worth that I don't think Chris is understanding fully. Mm-hmm. Like, I think Chris still has a lot of work to do because he's still a people pleaser and very agreeable. But like, for her, it's more so of a, you deserve to have a good time.
And I'm still missing all of this agreeableness that everybody's saying Chris has. Mm-hmm. Because I haven't seen a situation where I'm like, you should have said something, Chris.
Well, it's not a situation where he should have said something, but it's a situation of the support he gives is always there, which is what you expect, right? Mm-hmm. But the support he gives is always there, and it's never a suggestion made. Like, the natural way of doing things would be, well, I'm not just listening to hear, I'm listening to solve. Mm-hmm. Or in my eyes, right?
Well, that might be a thing where he's learned that everybody doesn't want a solution.
Right,
some people just want to vent.
Right. But your natural way of conversation is, you say something, mention a problem. Here it is in my mind. My rebuttal is a solution, or my rebuttal is a time that I had to go through that, but in conversation, you know.
So he's a good listener, and that makes him a people pleaser.
Possibly. I
don't feel that way.
That's what I feel like I just described that.
That's what you said. Like, he listens.
He listens very well, but never makes a suggestion, I guess.
That's probably burned him in the past.
Possibly.
And I get it. Don't make a solution. Like,
it's funny because Dr. Pia also asked them about past sexual relationships. Like, is it a negative thing And Chris was like, yeah, I've been in situations or relationships where sex is the only thing what they wanted. And I was like, Chris must be laying it down then.
I think he also was talking about he had a girlfriend that cheated on him.
Yeah. Also, Nicole was her negative view of sex was she was just having it to please that other person. Mm-hmm. It was like, it's not necessarily she wanted it, but she was just, the other person wanted it, so she would do it. Mm-hmm. And that tells you like so much about her in needing more work for herself. Like we do things for other people, mm-hmm. but we mainly look out for ourselves.
As you should. Put on your mask first.
Right. So it's like, I don't understand when people get upset or people don't understand that you should care about yourself more than anybody else should. So that's what I see with her. And it's a challenge seeing it too, because it's like, how do you make the marriage work at this point where you're the way she's perceived, or the way I perceive her now, is she thinks so little of herself, mm-hmm. but she expects Chris to think more of her. How does that work? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm only going to treat you the way that you treat yourself. Yeah. Now, over time, I may treat you like I shouldn't treat you better than you treat yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? I understand from a kid standpoint, you have to, because I have to teach you what self-worth is, you know? Yeah. It's something you have to learn. But for the most part, it's like, she's an adult. I think she's in her 30s. And you can't, I feel like you can't expect your husband to think more of you, bless you.
Thank you.
Than you do. Mm-hmm. But I might just be talking outside of my head. So there's that.
Are you done with them?
I am.
Okay.
I think I am.
Let's go to Jasmine and Aries.
All right, we can do that.
So with Dr. Pia, they discussed that their needs aren't getting met and that Jasmine feels like she's been friend zoned since the honeymoon. I don't believe that Aries disagreed.
He didn't.
Aries says that he sat on the couch with her for like 2 hours after their meeting with Dr. Pepper to like ask what he called first date questions, and she answered them, and he said the issue is that she never asked him anything in return. Jasmine was like, I also was given answers, and I don't think he would care what the answers were, the way that he was just spitfiring questions off. And Aries was like, I like that she calls me out on things. Like, I need her to do that more often, because if you feel this way, call me out. She's checked out. I don't think he ever checked in.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I think they're just trying to make TV at this point. Like, they're trying, but it doesn't amount to anything if it's not a real effort given on both sides.
Right.
And I feel like Jasmine has gotten to the point where she essentially has given up on this, but she wants to reach the finish line. Like, it's almost like, you're losing the race, but just let me finish, type of deal. And so I'm going to do what I have to do to finish this race, but I know I lost it, So it's hard to see that, but it's like, it's also kind of like challenging to see what's the outcome to be between them, because it's like, can they become friends? Can they, or will they become like
I don't think they can become friends after the conversation that he told her sister.
That's who she talked to? Who he talked to?
Yes. He talked to her sister, and he told her sister that Pastor Cal told him that at the end, like when you're standing at the end of the aisle and she walks out, you need to be the calming presence that reassures your wife. And she was like, so he told you to lie because you weren't attracted to me. And then you gave this full, I'm attracted to you.
Right. Like that's the thing. It's like I didn't know who he talked to when I saw that part, but I was like, how do you handle that? Like, I don't know if because it's the wedding day, right? And you and you see your wife come down the aisle, and you're instantly not like, oh, she's beautiful, or oh, that's me. You know what I'm saying? You have that feel. You don't have that feeling. So what do you do? Because you can't. I mean, you can say no, but all intents and purposes of this show, you can't say no because this is what you signed up for, and you're not trying to start this. You're trying to make sure that what you're feeling right now, your initial feelings, you're not reading the book by the cover. You know what I'm saying? So you may not be attracted now, but what do you do in the sense of just trying to make sure you can read the whole book? Or just trying to make sure that you can actually get to know this person, which I think he failed miserably at trying to get to know her because of how uninterested, and I think that's a word she used, uninterested in getting to know her because he couldn't get past the cover of the book.
Agreed. Well, he was like, you know, she's I think it was with Pastor Cal. He was like, she's dope, and if I died today and we had kids, I know that my kids would be well taken care of. I'm like,
I feel like I always felt like he has a lot of cop out answers.
Yeah.
You know, at one point I was like, oh, this is gonna work, this is gonna be good, you know, and stuff like that.
But it up until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but but it's like you see the change in Jasmine. It's not like, and I think a lot of it has to do, everything has to do with how Aris naturally is, I think. Like, because we haven't seen a real emotion from him. And he's like, oh, I love when she calls me out. Well, why is that now 16 days away or 21 days away from decision day, and she just finding that out, that you want her to call you out on your BS?
Because he don't want her to call him out on BS. It just sounds good.
And that's the thing. I think he just says the things to get past the quote unquote big bosses. And it's back to regular business.
To life,
but the thing that stuck out with me between them were when they said she's very agreeable with him. Like, so she's basically not trying to call him out on anything.
Yeah, if you're at the point where I don't really want to do this anymore, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Yeah.
You're not going to rock the boat.
Right. But she started out that way.
I don't think that she started out being super agreeable with him necessarily. I think it's kind of like Chris. I don't have anything to disagree with you about. And then once she started finding things to disagree with him about, it was kind of like, I'm not about to put my effort into this. He ain't doing it. Why am I doing it?
And that's a tough situation too,
it's
man.
It's cool when he do it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, they definitely know. But this episode just really kind of punctuated she's tired of the BS. And he's like, well, I tried, you know, type of deal. Like, I saw where I was messing up, but, you know.
Here I go.
I showed up and she didn't. So I still think he's just trying to hold out for the girl that
he really like.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Probably. So you got anything else for them?
Nah, that's it for them.
All right, so Gina and Clint. This is the couple that I zoned out every time they got on the screen. And I think it's because I know that they're not going to make it. So, like, why am I pretending?
Gina, before you even go through what happened with them, Gina made it.
You just start there.
Okay.
Because ain't no point in going through what happened with them. They're not going to make it. Yeah. There's just no point.
Gina was basically said, I hadn't thought about being physical with this guy, with her husband. Let me use the correct nouns for these folks. Gina said she never thought about being physical with her husband, then was asked, how do you expect the marriage to go to be successful without sex? And she was like, well, I don't know if the marriage is going to be successful or something. I'm paraphrasing. I was like, she's not trying to be successful in this marriage.
She's finishing out her 8 weeks.
Yeah. Like it's a prison bid or something, man.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. It's just 2 of them.
Like that, for me, that doesn't make sense.
Anything that Clint does is going to look like he's trying to her not trying.
Right. And it's quite unfair to Clint, right? Mm-hmm. We all tried to, I personally tried to villainize Clint first few episodes when they was at the honeymoon.
Yeah, she was mad about the whole...
I'm thinking he calling the girl fat and, not liking her and stuff like that. But it's it's hard for me to believe that for, let's say, 5 weeks, because at this point they've lived together for about 5 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. 5 weeks, I've lived with my wife, and excuse my French, but I ain't got hard yet. I ain't been wanting to touch her. My wife now, I can barely go a day without thinking about, touching you. But that doesn't make sense to me. So with that type of logic in my head, I'm like, okay, Clint's past the attraction part. Mm-hmm. What is it with her and this attraction thing? Because she's holding on to something that's really stupid.
She just don't like him.
But it's for me, it's why?
I mean,
why don't you like him?
He cool, but he is also friend zoned, and she don't like him. There's not even a point in going through that intimacy thing because they literally treated this like this is something we have to do. So,
yeah,
feather.
But I feel so bad for Clint, man.
Check.
I feel really bad for him because it's he's done a lot. It's a lot of stuff I would have did more of. Like I described, hey, let's watch a movie together.
I think that you would do those things if you expected this to work out.
I would probably do those things because I'm trying. Because my challenge then would be, can I get her? Can I get the draws?
Said he's not attracted to her either.
He's attracted to her.
How you gonna tell him?
Because I told him. He's attracted to her. There's no way. I'm as sexual as he said he was, right? We're going off of what he said. He said he's a sexual person. Sex doesn't bother him. He loves her dog, and she's not ugly. Forget how attracted he is to her. I'm going to live with you for 5 weeks where we have a license that says, hey, we can do this.
Nobody cares about that time.
Anyway, I do.
They don't.
But my thing is,
they're not gonna make it.
I agree with you.
No, they're not gonna make it.
But my thing is, it's at that point, I would challenge myself to how far can I get with her?
For what?
Because why not?
At the end of this process, if you know that you're never going to talk to this person again, unless she asks you to watch her dog, what are you doing this for?
Just try and get my rocks off.
He going to get his rocks off somewhere else. Somewhere he ain't got to try.
Challenge accepted. That's how it would be with me, man.
That would be a stupid challenge for me.
It would be challenge accepted. And it wouldn't be like I'm always trying to get in her drawers or anything like that. But I would practice more intimacy with her. Like I would practice touching, because that's the thing. That's the biggest thing. They don't touch each other. They don't hug.
They don't like
each other. I understand that. I understand that. I'm just saying the approach that I would take.
You're trying to take a perfect world approach that anybody was actually trying.
Yeah.
These two people on the screen don't want that.
All right.
They don't.
So they did the massages, and like it was just weird to see them finally touch each other in some type of manner.
Yeah, and it wasn't an intimate manner. People have touched strangers
more than they touched each other,
and better.
Yeah,
than they touched each other.
Yeah,
because that lady that gave me a massage this last time, she touched my back.
But it's just weird. To see that and then to notice it as well. Then they had the conversation about sex, and it's like, why is Gina she's 35 and she's still uncomfortable talking about sex? Like what's going on there?
I guess I don't just sit around and talk about sex. It's weird to just, especially somebody you're not having it with. And no intentions of having it with, bro, I'm not talking to you about this.
I guess that's where we differ.
Yeah, then you become heiress in the situation.
Do it?
Yeah. Because if you just want to talk to me about sex and we have no intentions of having it, what are we talking about this for?
Conversation.
Sex has never been a thing that I just want to sit up and talk about.
It has been for me, and I've done it before.
And where did that get you?
Nowhere. I mean, it was just a good conversation.
Keyword, nowhere. Anyway, you got anything else for them?
I wasn't trying to go nowhere with it.
You have anything else for them?
I just feel bad for Clint, man. They safe word was trace leches. 3 milks.
Porcupine. When I saw that, I thought about that other episode of Family Feud.
Pork.
Pie. That clip will live rent free in my head.
That clip is so funny, man. That's the best he came up with. All right, man. No, that's it. That's all I got for this.
Okay, so Shaq and Kirsten. Shaq went to Memphis for work. Kirsten, whatever her name is, she was supposed to go with him, and then she backed out. We found out that at the ending.
Yeah,
I thought she just wasn't supposed to go with him. She was FaceTiming him, telling him how much she missed him, and getting upset that she tried to blow him a kiss and he hung up. He was looking at her like, I got things to do that don't involve this conversation, lady. Dr. Pia comes in. They talk about the need to relinquish control to the other person because you can't control a relationship. They talk about the level of attraction, and she says that he is the most attractive when he's getting things done. So it seems like she likes him the most when he is of service to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how they got to the subject of masculine. I know that she mentioned that word, and then she asked, did she think that he was masculine? And that was a long pause.
Yeah.
And she defined her dad. She's doing a lot of unconscious comparing him to her dad, and it's not getting them anywhere because she's like, my dad is tough and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. And she's like, I wouldn't necessarily describe him as tough, him being Shaquille. And Shaquille was kind of hurt by it. He was like, what do I have to do to be seen as your version of, like, I don't even think he wants to be considered masculine, but he's like, you basically make it seem like I'm a punk. Like, do we got to get robbed at gunpoint? Somebody got to steal your car for me to like
yeah.
be tough in your eyes?
I watched that and just cringed because it's really a lot of different types of masculinity. And to question a man's masculinity it's a really big dig.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's almost as if she wanted, like you said, she wants somebody that's always in service of something.
Mm-hmm.
And his in service of something is what he does for work. She described him moving boxes. Like, that ain't for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, shoot, some people gonna pay movers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just didn't understand where she was trying to go, what her thought process was. Like, has she really thought about some of the things that she's saying?
She hadn't thought
before
about it. Because she hadn't thought about it in that moment either, because Dr. Pia asked her a question and she was like, that's a tough one. And then she just spit out a whole bunch of stuff. And it still didn't.
Like, what's the expectation for him? And one thing that I did notice is that we didn't get a chance to hear his side. Like,
I'm sure his side was asked, but his side probably also
was, I like her.
It didn't get the people going. Yeah,
but this was like the dramatic music part.
Mm-hmm.
She just don't really, like, she's looking at her dad and then looking at him and saying, well, I love what my dad did for me and did for my mom. And she don't even talk to her dad about that.
Right.
And not allowing him to talk to her dad, or, you know, trying to build that relationship, does not help the situation. Because, for instance, for example, me and your stepdad, two totally different people. Mm-hmm. Like, the funniest thing is he always compares what time he wakes up before everybody else and his hard work and what hard work looks to him. And for me, growing up, coming home and not being able to go do something else without having to take a shower, I was like, I don't want to do that. Because my dad, my granddad, they would always have to come home, take a shower because they're completely dirty. Mm-hmm. Well, what I do is hard work, and it's mentally hard work on me, you know, but I work, I provide. Mm-hmm. The way that I see fit doesn't change how masculine I am or, you know, the things that I do. You know, it's almost like getting a pedicure for a man. You know, go get a pedicure. We always look at that, or I did before I started getting pedicures, as a feminine thing. Mm-hmm. But I was like, shoot, man, this feel good. My toes look pretty.
Look pretty?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you just like, it's just.
I wouldn't describe your toes as pretty, but
okay,
absolutely.
We are not talking about my toes here.
It has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that you got a pedicure.
Right, but I'm just saying it feels good. It's something you should actually do, and stuff like that. And so it's her saying he's not tough. Why? You know, why is that important for him to be tough? And how do you describe that? Her saying, well, she don't feel safe. Why don't you feel safe with him? You know,
did she say she did?
That was the thing. She doesn't feel safe and secure or something like that.
I did write that down. Safe and protected.
Protected. That's what it was. So it's like, why don't you feel that way and stuff like that? So,
they do a blindfolded activity where she had to follow his voice and do what he said, and there was a rope in the washing machine, and she got wrapped up with the rope and she didn't have control. And I was like,
her, like every time they do an activity, it always feels rehearsed to me.
Her side of it always feels performed.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't have control. I have to stop doing that.
Right.
It's like, oh my God.
Hush, girl.
We've reached that point in the season for me.
Yeah. One of the bigger things is when they were in the bed and he told her that he wanted her to come to Memphis, and he, and she basically reneged on that promise that she was going to go.
If she had gone to Memphis, maybe they would make her feel safe because nothing happened to them while she was there.
Yeah. But it's
a rough city.
Right. The idea that she didn't come and she basically planned the whole weekend, and she was like, well, I felt like you didn't want me to come. And he was like, well, if I told you I wanted you to come, why wouldn't you? Regardless of if I asked you again or something like that, you said you was gonna go, and then you was like, nah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that could make somebody feel a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. So it's just, she has to be more willing to meet him where he is versus him trying to meet her where she is. And I think that's what he's missing. He also said he was asked, how does he feel? Is he happy about the marriage? He was like, I'm grateful, I'm overjoyed, but happy is a stretch. That says a lot in those few little words. Mm-hmm. But
they got some work to do.
A lot of work.
The two couples that could potentially make it at this point still have a lot of work to do. Although Nicole and Chris's isn't on their relationship, mm-hmm. They have Nicole mostly has the self-work mm-hmm. to do. But it's gonna be some of that with Kirsten and Shaquille. I thought when she asked about him being masculine, she was gonna bring up about him sewing and
I thought she was too,
stuff like that. And I was like, my granddaddy made my parents, like my mom and my aunts and uncles, clothes for school. I was like, he learned that in the military. I wouldn't think anything of a man being able to sew. I'm be like, that is being resourceful. Can you hear my pants? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I
think we've confused roles mm-hmm. that females have to do this and men have to do that. But if a person lives by themselves,
they have to be able to do it all.
They have to be able to do everything. Mm-hmm. So I don't get where these roles have became so prominent in one thing. Like,
because we're still in the archaic way of thinking, mm-hmm. The traditional marriage where the wife stays home. So no, the husband wouldn't be sewing. Well, in my case, my grandparents' case, he still was sewing, even though my grandmother did not have a formal job.
Right.
But he learned that before my grandmother. So
my personal thoughts on the whole traditional thing is that has died. There's no way to survive average American, average family off of one income. There's no way that average American, average family, that one person is expected to do everything in the household mm-hmm. and the other person is not. Like, I do think that today's marriages are all different, mm-hmm. but I also think that it takes a team mm-hmm. to make things work, and that's everybody sharing the load. Mm-hmm. I don't think it works without that type of conversations and that type of, teamwork.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
I don't know. I think, like you said, I think they got a lot of work to do, and They just have to put in the work.
We've come light years from don't touch me, don't give me a kiss.
Right.
Happy for that.
Yeah, they kissing. We seen them kiss this episode.
Yep.
And she tried to blow him a kiss and was mad that he didn't catch it or blow it back or something.
Because you will not miss my kiss.
Right.
Anywho, you got anything else for anybody?
Nah, that's it.
All right. If you guys, again, haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, comment down below what you guys thought of this week's episode. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whatever, Eastern Daylight Time, whatever.
Yeah.
Atlanta time for the coffee break. That's it.
I think so.
Yep, that's it. Bye, y'all.
Peace.